Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be explaining how to switch out the chest piece and /or changing the wings. So I've explained in a couple other videos that I have changed the parts on this Buzz in order to get a more complete version of him so that all the parts are here and they're all working, because when I originally got him, his wing lights didn't work and his globe was broken. Anyhow, so to take him apart, you basically remove the 4 screws here on the back. So, and also I've gotten a lot of questions regarding where I got parts from. So I get my parts from Thinkway Toys customer service. If you Google Thinkway Toys customer service, there's an email address listed there. The person that helped me, her name was Jen. Anyhow, I emailed them and asked them for the certain parts that I needed, and they let me know whether or not if the parts were available, and then I ordered them. All you need to do is pay for shipping. The parts themselves are free. So anyhow, once you've removed those 4 screws, try to collect them. Normally they don't come out though. And then you can go ahead and remove the chest piece, and everything sort of pops apart. So make sure that you know this side goes on the laser arm side, this side goes on the communicator arm side. And then these are actually labeled left and right. If you see, there's a little R and an L. So anyhow, then once you've done that, in order to change parts from one Buzz to another, everything is plugged into a central computer board. So I'm going to go ahead and try and... So here's the computer board, you can see right there. The blue rectangle shape right here. So if you bought a mostly non-functional anti-gravity belt Buzz and you want to refurbish him, the best way is to get the legs off of the anti-gravity belt Buzz and the computer board and put it in to a perfectly working regular version of the Toy Story Collection Buzz. So in order to get the computer board out, what you'll need to do is unplug the wires here. Each wire has a plug, so just make sure you know what is what. So if you're just trying to change the front chest piece, unplug the button wires, which are these, the mic wires, which are the green and the white. This is the microphone right there, and the speaker wires. And then the chest piece is free, and you can switch it out. If you're trying to switch out the wings, that's one of the hardest parts to change on this Buzz, because you don't want to really take off the wings because of how fragile they are. So if you want to take the wings off of a Buzz or whatever and switch them onto an anti-gravity belt version, what you'll need to do is unplug every single wire from the computer board, and then once that is free, there's a little screw over in here somewhere. Here it is. So you unscrew that screw, and then the computer board actually comes free. Then, once you've removed the computer board, you can go ahead and put it onto the working back piece, because this is the back piece here, which is connected to the wings. The reason why you don't want to just take one individual wing off and switch it is because they are actually soldered in place. So they're not soldered in place, but basically if you want to remove the wings, you'll have to undo all the glue that they put the wire in here with, untie the knot, then pull the wing off, and then unplug it. It's just a big process. So the easiest way is to just unplug the wires from the computer board and remove the computer board and switch it out for the anti-gravity belt version or whatever version you're trying to repair. So I hope this video helps you, people who are wondering about what parts you need to do to get the wings. I hope this explains enough. If not, I can do a more detailed video on how to actually remove each wire. Another thing to note is the wires are extremely delicate. So when you're trying to remove them, it's helpful to get a small flathead screwdriver in order to pry the plugs off. And then inserting them back in is pretty easy. If the outer casing of one of the wires comes off, like here the motor one came off with the motor plug, which I don't have the motor in place. That's another thing to note, is right now the motor's gone because I don't want the motor in. It's just annoying. But basically the plug can come off, so the easiest way is to make sure the little prongs are separated enough, and then put the outer part of the plug back on, and then plug the rest in. What I did in order to make sure the wires stay connected to the plug is I put a little bit of hot glue over the top, as you can see there. I did it on most of them, so that if you're trying to pull on the wires, it won't actually tug the wires out of the plug. So, and then putting them back together, the most important thing to do if you have a motor unit in place is to make sure the wires here are not directly bunched up underneath the motor unit if there was one. I don't, again, have one in place. So then just make sure, it's a lot easier to put him back together if you don't have a motor unit. That's another thing to note. Just make sure all the wires are tucked inside of him, because otherwise they'll get cut or snapped or whatever. The anti-gravity belt version is a little harder to do with the motor unit because he also has wires here coming out of the anti-gravity belt. So, and then the globe is one of the trickiest pieces. So make sure you have the right hand globe connector and the left hand globe connector correct, and go ahead and put those in place. It's a little hard to film, but I think you guys can figure out how to put those in. Because basically they just sit in place with the globe. The trick is, though, you want to get both in. Right, they just sit in place there. And then with the chest piece, to put it back on, just make sure that the screw holes, again there's 4, that none of them are being blocked by the wires. The most common ones to go ahead and block those are the globe sensors, or the wing wire often gets in the way. So make sure you don't snap those. Then once you have those for sure out of the way, you're ready to go ahead and also, I guess I forgot to actually put this in place correctly. So yeah, again, the globe is one of the trickiest pieces to get in correctly there. And also make sure you don't break the globe. This side of the globe is extremely fragile. It seems like more of a product defect, that it's extremely delicate. So, and then once you have him all reassembled there, you can go ahead and screw back in the screws. Another thing to note, if his waist seems a little bit loose, make sure you tighten in those screws all the way. And it's really important to make sure that you don't over tighten them, because that can damage the plastic. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments about how I did this, just make sure you leave those questions down in the comment section. I'll be sure to try and reply back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching this video, and be sure to check out the other videos on my channel.